Hello, I am Bentham and welcome back to Factorio Railworld, and let's start the day off by checking the alien artifact supply, and we find that there are none there, so let's go get some. Straight off to the tank, and we'll swap in our combat armor, and let's go. Let's not waste any time, because every moment wasted is a moment where the factory shuts down more, and that's no good. We want it to keep going as much as possible. So I decide that today I will journey to the south and take out some of the biters that are around there. In particular, the ones that caused me so much trouble before. So there's a base here on the left, which is quite recent because there was a little base here that I took out and it got replaced by this bigger one. So we'll just swing in here with the tank. But it looks like it's a bit too much for the tank, so I quickly drive off, bail out, and deal with it manually because it looks like going in on foot is a lot better. And there's a lot of worms here, and worms are sort of the weakness of the tank that I'm being overwhelmed by millions of biters. So we make our way back to the tank, and it's actually travelled quite far. I was surprised. It's got a lot of momentum behind it. So I don't know, maybe there's some use there as some sort of ramming weapon. You just sort of hop out as you send it towards the enemy. Though of course tanks do take a bit of material to produce. I forget how much it is, but it's probably quite a bit. So anyway, take out this base now, and we know what we're doing this time around. There's a lot less biters. We just need to use some destroyer drones to help deal with all the chasing biters so that we don't get overwhelmed by them. So there we go, that's that one dealt with, and let's go down to this little cluster of bases down here. So there's a single spawner right here. Just grab that quickly, pick up the alien artifacts and move on. It was a bit difficult forcing my way through that cloud of biters there, but I managed to do it. Once again, I leave the tank while it's moving. It actually bounces off a tree there, interestingly enough, but it's not gone anywhere really, so it's fine. Hop out and hop in even, and let's take out this base here as well. And at the moment it looks like there's a lot of spawners with no worms, which is good because that's a nice way to do it, because worms are an absolute pain. No matter what you are really, even if you're on foot and super armoured, it's still a bit of a problem. And then there's another one here that sort of stopped us dead there. There were so many biters that ran at us, but we managed to deal with that easily enough, and we've taken those out. And then there's just one little spawner over here to deal with, all basic biters, which is nice and easy. Don't even need to get out of the tank for that one. And then it's time to go off over to the southeast of the base, because there's a couple more biter homes, or whatever you want to call them, bases I suppose, over this way that I would like to get out of the way. And once we've got these out of the way, actually, we'll have a much more defensible position, not that we get attacked that much. So that's another little base dealt with there, and then let's go up to this one that is just south of the mini copper base, because this was a problem before. We tried to deal with it and made no progress, but this time around it's pretty easy because we've got a nicely upgraded tank and some destroyer drones to help us. So that's that dealt with, and let's make our way home. We'll just cross over the tracks, being careful to not do it when there's any trains in sight. We'll wait for this one to cross, and off we go. And then one more time we'll cross over this loop here. It wasn't really necessary, I was just being lazy and trying to cut corners. And then we'll just sort of weave through all of these power poles and such, and get back to base. So there we go, park up, and the drones will repair it for me, resupply me, and let's go and put these alien artifacts into the machine, because we have 240 of them, which is pretty awesome, and that's going to keep the science system running for, I would say, at least 2 episodes, probably 3, maybe more, I don't know. But anyway, I just stay around for a minute to check that the assembler can produce them quick enough, because now that we've got 10 labs going, the sort of consumption of the science packs is significantly quicker than before. But I see it gets down to the final 2 labs, so it looks like that system's running absolutely fine. So let's go check on ore, because at the moment we are still having the same problems as before with iron ore. A lot of the furnaces are off, and that's no good, and we need to fix that. First of all, I just decided to put some blue belts down, just to make sure that things can go as fast as possible. We weren't at the stage yet where they couldn't, but I thought it would be a good idea to put it in for when the time comes. Unfortunately, I mess it up a bit so that there is a moment where the system is disconnected, but I quickly reconnect it and sort of overload the system for a minute while everything evens out again. Getting more research done, which is good. We're working on logistics at the moment, trying to get the logistics bots to be less useless, because they always take so long to get to me and run out of charge and stuff, and it's annoying. So I'm trying to speed them up and also give myself more logistics capacity so I can get more use out of the bots that I have. So anyway, checking up on the unloading chests, it looks like it looks like the system is running down right now. The chests are emptying out, and that is of course a bad thing, because it means that, like, even though the iron supply is bad enough at the moment as it is, it's going to get worse. So we hop on board the iron train so we can make our way over to the outpost and check on how things are going here. So the chests are all, like, we're nearly loading the chests at full speed actually, but the iron supply isn't quite enough for that. But last time we came here, we tried to put some blue belts in places to speed things up. But this time around, we have tons of blue belts handy, so we can just put them through the whole system and make sure it's going as fast as it possibly can. And with any luck, that will be enough to get all of the mining drills running non-stop, which will help to increase the rate of ore. Also, I've noticed there's a really rubbish corner here that's slowing everything down, so I just sort out an evening out area there, and that should hopefully keep things going as fast as possible. So with that done, I hop back in the train and hope that it's helped. And I could put more mining drills in there and get the system going quicker, but I feel like a better solution would be to just set up a new outpost, and that way we're relying on more than one outpost as well, which is always good, because one of the problems that we have with the rate at which the iron is going is that at the moment it's like the way the unloading system works, half of the things on, like, half of the chests are not actually being emptied a lot of the time, and that's no good. We want it to be emptied out as fast as possible, because at the moment the rate at which the iron is flowing through is not good enough. So we do need it going into the other station, I guess. So anyway, I've just scouted out on the map. I just had, because you remember in previous episodes I've been doing a lot with radars, putting more radars in, and it's paid off because I've spotted a little bit of iron just peeking out in the corner of what the radars can see. So I'm going to go investigate and see if we'll be able to build an outpost there. And there you can see it is just a tiny little bit at the top corner, but it looks like it's part of a large deposit. So we're going to go, we're going to hop in the tank and make our way over and visit and see what sort of deposit we're dealing with here, and see if it's worth setting up a train, because it is a very long way away. But as it is, there are no nearby iron deposits apart from just a couple of tiny ones and the apple ore, as I suppose you could call it. But I don't want to mine that because it's a lovely pretty apple shape, and also it's cooler to have a long distance base. So anyway, here we are out in the wilderness, and there's a bunch of biters around, so I'm just dealing with these before I have a look at the deposit. But already you can see on the map its entirety, and it's not as big as I hoped for, but it's big enough to supply us for a good while anyway, possibly to the end of the game as it is. Depending on how much science we've got left, I'm not really sure. I haven't been keeping track really. There's a couple of biter bases around here to deal with, and what I want to do really is just sort of clear out a radius around the deposit, so that anything that I build there is not in too much danger. Though of course with spitters being a thing now, that could be a bit difficult, so we'll have to see how that goes. We might have to put some walls in or whatever. Laser turrets even, which I don't usually do because I can't be bothered with laser turrets. Too fiddly and stuff. Or are they? Well, they need batteries, and that's a pain to do because it means you have to go get batteries, and I don't want to have batteries in my inventory all the time. But anyway, what we're doing right now is setting up the mining drills for this deposit. I'm just deciding on how I'm going to arrange them, and I decide on having the vertical rows, columns, I guess, on it. So because what we can sort of aim towards having the train facing east to west or west to east or whatever, because that will help generally. So anyway, there's a couple more bases to take out, and at this point I've just abandoned using the tank because it's just so much better to go on foot, which is annoying because it's so much more fun to be in the tank, but it's no fun if you die, which can also happen. By the way, did you spot on the left there was a base that had a lot of worms in it? And I'm just going nowhere near that because that is terrifying. I don't know if I would be able to deal with that even with the suit that I've got right now. I think I would have to run in with the tank so that I'd be in the middle of it with the shotgun when the tank exploded or something like that. It'll definitely be an interesting battle when the time comes. But anyway, I'm just dealing with all of these nearby outposts for now. Not outposts, biter bases. I suppose they are outposts for the biters. I'm just sort of making sure that there's a sort of safe zone around the deposit, because the thing is it's going to be it's a long way away from the base, and so it's going to be a really big journey if I want to come over here. So if the biters start attacking and I'm not here, the base is pretty much screwed, because by the time the biters have been stopped, it'll be far too late Like, well, that's if the biters are stopped. If it, like, by the time I arrive there, it'll be too late because they will have killed everything. So anyway, there's just one more base here that I'm going to deal with, and there we go. And we've got tons and tons of alien artifacts now. We should have come here first because this is more than we got from that little jaunt we did before, and the purpose of that jaunt was just to get more artifacts, though it turned into sort of defending the copper outpost as well. But anyway, I'm just setting up some more mining drills, and it's sort of the wrong order that I'm doing things in here because it's a long time before we're going to start mining this. We need to set up the actual rails first. And so I start looking at how I'm going to do that, move the tank out of the way so that we can put some rails down. And I decided a slightly weird system I'm going to do. I'm going to have the train parking above it. So that does mean that there's a bit of sort of rail wasted, but if I put the train below, there's a bunch of coal in the way, and that's just annoying, and I can't be bothered. So yeah, I'm just going to have it go over the top of the outpost instead. So I'm just sort of working out here the positionings of the different bits of rail. And then I'm just going to connect these two little bits that I've got so far together and make a junction here. Though we may not need a junction this far out, it's unlikely that we will actually have like anywhere branching off this, unless I like do something with this game where I like carry on beyond the science is complete, which I didn't do last time, but maybe I will this time because I feel like there's a lot more potential for trains that I might not have a chance to realise before we run out of science to do. So anyway, we've got that junction made. You can see a general structure appearing of what things are going to look like once they're finished. But now what we need to do is go and connect this up to the rails at home. And this is a pretty mammoth task. I'm just like running straight line down to just put this huge rail in. And the thing is, like, this is so long that the train that travels between this place and the base is going to spend more time moving than it is still, which isn't usual. Usually I can pretty much disregard the time on the rails when I'm sort of factoring in how long something will take involving the train. But anyway, we've run out of materials and we're nowhere near finished. There's a little group of biters there that I quickly dealt with. So now we're making our way home to resupply, and then we can carry on putting in this system. So anyway, I tried to deal with this biter base here, but they nearly took the tank out, so I had to drive off and then run back in the suit to deal with them. And then there's also a base over here that I decided to deal with because it's really near to one of my radar outposts, and this is the radar outpost that discovered this iron deposit, so I'm pretty proud of it and I want it to stay intact because it's important. So anyway, with that dealt with, I make my way back to the tank, blasting my way through the forest because I'm lazy and I have a shotgun. You can see the tank is pretty battered now, so we're not going to deal with any more biters on the way home, though there aren't any more on the way home, so that's easy enough. So get some more science done just before we arrive, and then crash into the gates like an idiot and park up, and I can leave the drones to sort out all the problems with that, and I can go and sort out other things. So I've got 1 million alien artifacts now, so let's go use them. So I make my way over to the assembler, put them in, and we've actually got to the assembler's limit of 500 alien artifacts in it, and we've still got some left. So what I do is grab a couple of them and put 10 into the production of each kind of level 3 module, because if you've seen my previous series, it turns out it does take quite a while to make the level 3 modules, and when we do need them in the end, it would be good if some of them are already made so I don't have so much trouble with them. But anyway, what we need to do is get a bunch of raw stone in order to make a bunch more rails. So I start crafting a bunch of those, and also I've spotted that this particular mine here has run out that needs to supply the raw stone to brick and wall production. So I put in a mining drill, but I'm going to need to use a long armed inserter to deliver the actual ore from the mining drill to the furnace, and I have to wait a while all of these bits of rail get crafted, and also I let the logistics bots resupply me for a while because I do want to be fully supplied when I set off back to carry on extending the railway. So anyway, just having a look around in the system, and I've spotted that the circuit supply isn't enough, which is interesting because at the moment iron and copper are backed up here. So what I decided to do is extend it and add in a 4th array of circuit producing assemblers, and this might be a bit overkill, but it's fun, why not? The more capacity for making circuits the better, it looks like at the moment, because everything's hoovering them up. And of course the reason for this is the level 3 modules. They use up a lot of processing units, and processing units use up a metric ton of circuits, and basically it's now impossible for circuits to build up because it'll all just be hoovered up by processing unit production. So anyway, after setting up that system, I wander off over to the railway to sort out the new system I'm putting in. So what I need to do to work out where like the junction will be that's halfway along, I'm going to have to extend out from here as well and work out where they meet in the middle. So I start going along with this this rail thing, and this took absolutely ages in real time, and I realised I could have put on the power suit to speed things up, and eventually I do, because there is a biter base here that needs dealing with, which is a nice break from the monotony of just running along and laying tracks down, because it means you get to shoot biters for a while. But anyway, that gets dealt with, and we go back to before. There's a couple of trees that we have to deal with, so I'm just clearing these out of the way and then carrying on. There's a couple of clumps of forest that I have to work through. I actually run out of rail parts and have to craft some more. Though I didn't know that was going to happen, because I know I think I used up over 100. Oh, there's another biter base there. I used up over 100 rails, I think, before, and that was one half of half of half, so an eighth of the entire number of rail pieces I need. If even that, it could be less. So I'm definitely going to need a lot more for that. So I start making my way back now, because I've pretty much made it to where I think the meeting point is between the two, at the 90 degree of these two rail sections that I'm building. So I might as well put in the other half before I set off up to the outpost and carry on extending that section of rail down. Unfortunately, I didn't craft them all before I set off, so now I'm having to wait for them to be crafted. And of course they get crafted slower than I can place them, so I do have to stand around a couple of times just waiting for them to be made, though there are some trees to clear away to keep me occupied. And we get it back to the main system, so we now have that going. We've got about half of we're about halfway to the outpost now, which is good. So going back to resupply on yet more stone, because I know we're going to need it, and also I've got a ton of wood now from all these trees I've been clearing away. So we'll go back and work on that in a bit, but I've spotted a problem with copper. The copper has started to run down. Some of the furnaces are switching off, and the supply is no longer enough to feed the main base. So what we need to go and do is set up a new copper mine, because unlike with iron, there is no ore just lying around that we can mine that is ready to be delivered into a train, but there is a nice little deposit just near the base that I can set up on. But one thing I need to do before that is sort out a junction halfway along here. Now I picked it based on a couple of ores that are down to the south of here, because depending on how long this rail system is around for, it could be that we end up extending down there one day. There is some copper down there actually, so we probably will be doing that fairly soon actually. But anyway, I clear away the old bit of straight track and put in all these corners and so on, and then I can, once I've got this connected up, this junction thing is ready for business, so I do need to put a couple of signals in. Just pop those there. So there we go, that's now its own block. And then we make our way back over to this copper deposit, and we're going to start setting up the mines. Now we could just have it delivered straight to the smeltery, because it is fairly near, but that's boring, so I'm going to set up a train. So we start putting in these mining drills, working out the spacing to get the sort of even it out the most, like what's mining what. And then we need to just put some on this little jutty out bit up here. Only takes 3 though, so it's not too bad, because sometimes they can be like 6 wide, so you can't quite cover them with 1 or whatever, but this is alright, this one. Actually that one is 6 wide, but whatever. So we get the efficiency modules into everything, and then we need to actually connect this up to the power system and get a train going to and from it. So I start setting the power grid along, and I'm going to have this sort of this central trunk of power going all the way along the rail line, because that is really convenient for supplying power to the various outposts. So it only takes 1 substation to get the whole system going, and this is just generally really convenient, this little deposit here. So then we start setting up the little station that the train will be parked in. Put in the station itself, the train, the cargo wagon. We'll only need 1 cargo wagon, of course, and christen the station Mini Copper 2. We'll plonk in a bit of coal to get the train going, park it up properly so we can work out the right positioning, and then we need to put in the signals to separate this from the main line, and then we can sort out the loading system. And I'm doing this in record time really, partly because we've got not very much time left in the episode at all, so I'm trying to get it done quickly. So we got the loading sorted there, we just need a bit of power, and there it is. and then we just need to tell the train what to do. So I sort out the schedule, train starts getting filled, and then once the time at the station is up, off it goes, parks up in Copper 1 and starts unloading, and there's not much in it at the moment because it wasn't around for the whole time, but that's fine. And then there is, well, unfortunately, it looks like it's holding up the other copper train, so we might have to sort that out in the next episode. And that copper train was actually holding up the iron train as well. But anyway, that is it for today, so after sorting out my power armor, I shall say goodbye. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.